I don't want to seem as though I would ever ignore this because I think this is a pretty big deal. Um, you know, I believe that one of the things that we didn't do that we need to do as a nation is actually impanel a committee or blue ribbon panel on how COVID was handled, on how the last pandemic was handled. But it has to really be done in a serious way. The grandstanding associated with a lot of the stuff that they're doing now, where they're trying to light up Biden through all of these impeachment proceedings, et cetera, it's not only a waste of time and taxpayer money, but it's such a pure political jihad that I just... So apart from that, I'd like something really done on COVID because I think there's a lot to be learned. You know, when you talk about COVID restrictions, and we can talk about COVID and let's put a slash there and say pandemic, because I'm really doing it for the next pandemic, right? COVID has receded a bit, and it still represents a danger, I think, to certain sectors of the population. But more to the point, as a society, we're going to have to deal with the next pandemic. So I would love a blue ribbon panel, whatever, put together to look at COVID. So among the things they would look at would be, treatments for COVID, vaccines, social distancing, masks, etc. The closing of schools, the closing of businesses, all of these things should be looked at dispassionately and reported on. So here is something that would fall into that category. And again, you'll pardon me for, not necessarily singing the song that is always played when it comes to the discussion of ivermectin, that drug that was used to treat many people with COVID. And it was talked about in all of these ways that smeared it, and it was talked about as a horse medication. Now, I don't know. I'm not an MD. I don't know. I just know that, wow, the medical community really came out against it, and the FDA came out against it, right? So, and the FDA was on the record. They warned Americans not to use ivermectin. It was, quote, intended for animals. Never use medications intended for animals on yourself or other people, they said. Animal ivermectin products are very different from those approved for humans. So they were also saying, don't use the animal ivermectin if you're going to use the ivermectin, because people were going to, you'll remember, they were going to these various concerns that are associated with horse medications, and they were buying them for themselves. It was a crazy time in America, which is really why I'd like this x-ray on how we did. But now to the news. The federal lawsuit against the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Food and Drug Administration over the agency's attempts to block the use of ivermectin in COVID-19 treatment. The FDA lost that case. I mean, it's pretty big news. An FDA reversal on ivermectin. And the lawsuit is now forcing the FDA to remove COVID-19 related ivermectin posts. The federal agency agreed to remove social media posts about use of the drug in a court-approved agreement with this doctor, Dr. Mary Bowden. It's a huge, huge chapter in, as I say, this, and I'm going to call it, even though it's not technically over, post-COVID world. FDA publications and actions cited by the plaintiffs include a 2021 post with pictures of a horse, captioned, "You are not a horse, you are not a cow. Seriously, y'all, stop it." And a link to an agency article, this is again an FDA article, entitled, "Why You Should Not Take Ivermectin to Treat or Prevent COVID-19." And this doctor sued one of thousands of doctors who was scrambling for treatment options, and she found this one, ivermectin. And again, she took the FDA to court and she won. So that's a win in the Southern District Court in Texas. And there was an overruling in the case, and it was appealed. But essentially, once all of the appeals and the throwing it down to the lower court and all of that was done, the FDA now has to remove many of these social media posts. Houston doctor's lawsuit forces FDA to remove COVID-19 related ivermectin posts. There it is. Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.